Alrighty, what is up, everyone? Hello and welcome. Phil here live on the stream. Welcome to a full day of streaming. Welcome to my final day of streaming before a break. I know this is weird because the schedule has been thrown for a loop. You know, typically my streaming week, I'll stream all week long, and then I usually have like a Thursday off. This week it's tomorrow, and I know that's bizarre. But it looks like for the next couple of weeks, that may actually be the case where Tuesdays may be the day that I have off from streaming, which is actually fine because if you look at the game schedule, there's no new releases on a Tuesday until I believe either the end of August or September. I'm not even kidding. Like, there's nothing really going on in the realm of new release games for quite some time on a Tuesday, so that should be fine. It shouldn't really negatively affect anything at this point. So today is Monday, July 15th, 2019. Hello, everyone. A fun day today. Good stuff, a variety of content for sure. And we finally got some updates and positive announcements for all of you. For those who've been waiting eagerly for news on a certain event that's going to start, on the sooner side rather than later. So that's a good thing. Let's talk a little bit, everybody. I also want to give you a rough update on the schedule for this week, since this week also will be a good variety of stuff moving forward once I'm back from my time off tomorrow, okay? So, here's how it's all going to go down, okay? First of all, let's talk Viewer's Choice. That's right, everyone. Viewer's Choice is an event that you guys have been waiting for the determination on for quite some time. Over the course of late June, early July, you guys nominated games, and then for about a week or so, you voted on said poll for said games to see what would become the viewer's choice playthrough for the summer. There were many games in the running, and so people were shocked that certain games weren't actually nominated enough to make it to the final poll. That always happens. We had some fervent voting, and then all of a sudden, all right, out of nowhere one day, there was like hundreds of votes that came in out of nowhere. And it made absolutely no sense that hundreds of votes would come in just in the middle of a poll. It would have been one thing if, on the first or second day of the poll, people were aware of it and they came in droves and voted. And I knew there were some shenanigans afoot. Let's put it that way. So I talked to my webmaster, and between the two of us, we determined that there was basically 2 to 3 naughty parties who had come in and basically made a ton of clone accounts on the website, hilariously under the same IP, to basically skew the polls. All right. And so it took a few days to kind of go through there and roll it back and figure it out. So here's what we've got, guys. All right. The truth of the matter is, it's impossible to accurately tell 100% what were legit votes and what weren't in this poll. All right, it's just not 100% possible because there are people who may have flooded in with a VPN. They might have kept changing their IP every time they made a clone account, right? So there's no way 100% accuracy to know with a poll, what the deal is. But what I can tell you is that even weeding out those hundreds of seemingly fake votes from the last couple of days that I had the poll open, there were 2 very clear-cut front runners, all right? 2 very clear-cut games that were in the running for number 1, all right? So here's what the games were. SpongeBob SquarePants, The Battle for Bikini Bottom, and Super Mario 64, all right? Nothing else even came close. In fact, it's funny because if you look, it says that Knights of the Old Republic was very close in the poll, and that's actually not accurate at all. Most of the votes that came in for that game were within the last 2 days were erroneous. In fact, that game was way behind SpongeBob and Mario with the legit voting that had happened earlier on in the poll. Okay? So, you might say, gee, I wonder, between these 2 games, what's Phil going to do? Because, if it's too close to call, if you can't tell what actually legitimately won the poll, how do you handle this? All right? Well, it's a very simple thing. Luckily, we have a situation here that allows me to easily determine how we should handle this, okay? So, SpongeBob, Battle of Bikini Bottom, it was just announced at E3, is being remade into a modern re-release, much like the Crash trilogy, the Spyro trilogy, etc. of games. It's going to be re-released Now, originally they said it was going to be in the fall, but apparently people have been telling me that it's now being said it's going to be next year. So I guess if that's the case, what we'll do is next year, when SpongeBob comes out, we're going to play it. In fact, I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I was going to do that anyway. I had already said during my E3 coverage that I was excited to check out this game finally that so many people had told me about over the years. And that's what I was going to do. I was going to play it when it re-released, okay? So I actually find it kind of weird. I'll be honest here. I find it kind of weird that people nominated and then voted so much for this SpongeBob game in the poll when I had already announced previously I was going to play it anyway. But I guess people were so adamant that they wanted to see it, okay, that they wanted to ensure that I would by voting on it in this poll, okay? So it is. I'm going to play it when the re-release comes out next year or whenever it comes out. If it comes out this year, whatever, I'm playing it, okay? So there you go. There's your answer. For those who wanted SpongeBob, good stuff. You're getting your wish, okay? Now, as for the actual determined winner of the Viewer's Choice event that I'll be playing this summer, well, that leaves us with Super Mario 64. Now, what this leaves us with is a big question mark, all right? Which I need to propose to all of you today on the pre-stream, and I hope that you guys will be able to help me to answer this question mark, okay? How should I play Super Mario 64? Okay. I don't know. I don't know how to play Super Mario 64. There's various different ways to play it. Okay. I know for a fact that it had been ported to multiple different handheld systems. Of course, Nintendo systems. I don't know if it was ever ported to, say, the Wii or the Wii U or the Switch. So the question that I have for all of you is, what would be the more viable way to play this game? And, whatever we figure out is how I'll be doing it. Excuse me. Now, here's the thing. I'm not sure if my Nintendo 3DS capture setup still works. Okay, I have no idea. If it does, great, but I don't know if it does. So I'm a little nervous that if that's what people are, play the mobile version, or play the handheld version, I don't know if it's still going to work. And that sucks if it doesn't. What can I do, right? And I'll be honest, it's a little bit more frustrating and a little bit more complicated to get that working again. It always had sync problems and stuff that, not to say that it's not hard to figure out how to fix, but it's been years since I've used it, so it would be a little bit more of a hassle to have to use that to do the playthrough, okay? Now, some people I'm seeing in the stream chat are saying it's actually available on the Wii U Virtual Console. If that's the case, that's a good news, because I still got my Wii U right here, ready to go. I've got, many game pads for the Wii U that are going to be way better than the standard, stupid Wii U pad. Including I have the Wii U Pro pad, I have the Pokken Tournament pad, I have I have various pads I can probably use. I don't think the Pokken Tournament would work because it doesn't have a thumbstick. You need a controller with a thumbstick, right? But I have various controllers I could use with the Wii U, and, Mario 64 requires a thumbstick setup. In fact, Mario 64 was the very first mainstream video game to use a thumbstick. Many of you may not realize this, being that it was the launch title for the Nintendo 64 that was packaged with the console at launch. And, it was the very first ever console to use an actual thumbstick in the console as the mainstream control scheme. So it'll be quite interesting, to play this game. By the way, I played Mario 64 when it was a new release on the Nintendo 64. All right. And then years later, I played Mario 64 when it was a re-release on mobile. I keep saying mobile. When it was a re-release on handheld, like, whatever it was. I think it was the 3DS or whatever, okay? So, in essence, I have played Super Mario 64 2 times, okay? So, it'll be very interesting the third time around, now with a lot more gameplay experience under my belt, but at the same time, not having played this game in so damn long, it's going to be interesting to go back and play this game, okay? The first ever true 3D platformer. The first ever Mario game with any kind of voice acting. You know, it's a great game. Don't get me wrong, but there's also some very challenging and cheap stuff in this game. There's going to be a ridiculous amount of deaths and stuff in this game. I just know it, okay? But at the same time, I love the music. I remember so much. You know, the music was so awesome in that game. And it was so fun playing through it. And it was a launch title and having this amazing soundtrack and everything. Like, it was so cool, man. So, I'm actually very much looking forward to this playthrough. Okay? Now, what I would like to say is please give me your opinion on how I should play it. If you think that, you know, playing it on the 3DS versus the Wii U Virtual Console is the better option, I'd like to weigh and balance my options here and do the best version. I'm not starting it up immediately. In fact, probably it will begin, I would think maybe not this week coming up, but maybe the week after. I'll probably begin this as an ongoing playthrough in my streams. Okay? So, I will let you know. I will obviously let you guys know what happens. Okay? And I will let you know, you know, what I've determined. But please give me your feedback, all right? So, in summary, it's too close to call what games actually definitively won the Viewer's Choice event due to some fraudulent voting. However, there were two frontrunners for the vast majority of the voting, and they were Super Mario 64 and SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, all right? Since SpongeBob is getting a re-release next year, it makes no sense to play the original now. So I will be playing SpongeBob come next year. But for now, for the summer, we're going to do Mario 64. Alright? And that will be starting probably within about a week to a week and a half, depending on when I figure out what version of the game is the best game to get and play. And we'll go from there. Okay? Fair enough? Alright. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Alright, so there you go. That's good news, right? We finally got a determination. We finally got that all settled. Alright? So that being said, now, let's talk about the schedule for the next week, so you guys know what to expect. Today, it's my weekly session of Super Mario Maker 2, where I'm going to be playing user-created levels, many of which you guys suggested over the last week. I got many emails about user-created content, so we'll be checking out many of those stages today. I don't know how difficult they'll be, but we're going to check those out. And I'll also be looking at the top rankings in the game and playing, again, some of the top-ranked stages now that we're, like, week 3 this game's been out. I'm sure the rankings have changed and everything, so we'll give it a look and play some of those as well. Should be a fun stream. Last week we had a lot of fun with it, and, you know, I will keep doing stuff like this as long as it holds interest. If it ends up being boring, or if people basically say, if people actually say, you know, we're tired of this, you know, this is, you know, okay, you played it for 2-3 weeks, we've had enough, I'll move on to other stuff, alright? But so far, people seem to still be entertained by this, and that's why we're going to keep going it, okay? Fair enough? Alright. So there you go. That's today. It's Super Mario Maker 2. Later tonight, my late night stream will be 2 more hours of Judgment. Alright, continuing on with that ongoing playthrough. And I will say this, if you've played Judgment already, alright, please tune into tonight's stream, because I'm at a portion of the story where I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. The game is telling me that I'm supposed to have a business card in my inventory that tells me a location to go to continue the plot. And I don't have the business card. I don't know what happened, because in the storyline, in a cutscene, I was given it, but it's not there. So, I don't know what I'm supposed to do in order to actually progress with the story. I seem stuck. Okay? So, let's see what happens with that tonight. It should be a fun 2-hour stream. The playthrough so far has been amazing, and I'm looking forward to more. Okay? Tomorrow is my day off, as I've already mentioned. And it looks like for the next week, that will be my day off next week as well. So it's going to be 6 straight days. 6 straight days of streaming until I take my next day off next Tuesday. Alright? So, what's it going to be this week? Well, when I come back on Wednesday, it's going to be Final Fantasy IX, a major gameplay stream. We're still on disc 3 doing side content, but people are saying essentially I'm going to have to continue with the story very shortly. Although I did start the frog collection quest for Kina, so I may do that for a bit and see how many frogs I can collect and the like, and then go from there. Okay, so Final Fantasy IX main gameplay stream coming up on Wednesday. Then Wednesday night I'm going to do my weekly Black Ops 4 Blackout stream. So some Battle Royale for you on Wednesday night. That should be fun. Okay. Thursday, it's going to be a return to Dragon Quest Builders 2, a game that I played for the last 2 days, and I very much enjoyed. Very, very different from Minecraft in the fact that it has established mission structures, side missions, puzzles designed in the world. Okay. And honestly, I'm really liking the game. And I definitely want to keep playing it as like a main playthrough, at least for the short term, because I am enjoying it so much, okay? So that's going to be continuing on Thursday. Thursday night, we're going to return to Judgment. So another 2 hours of Judgment on Thursday night. And then on Friday, it's the big premiere for this week. It is, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, the release of... Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. It has been quite a long time since there's been a Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. I played the first 2 games and absolutely loved them, and I'm actually very much looking forward to this one. Now, I will be doing co-op. It may not always be the same people, but I do have at least 2 to 3 people lined up who are interested in doing co-op during my playthrough. Sadly, the Nintendo Switch does not have voice communication. So we're just going to be playing co-op, and we're not going to be able to communicate with talking, but we'll be able to, you know, play and do cooperative moves and do stuff like that. It should be pretty fun. And I'm looking forward to this starting on Friday. It's basically going to be kind of probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm thinking like the whole weekend probably. The main streams will be Marvel, just so that we can get through the main campaign of the game. And then after that, if I decide to go back and play it more or whatever, then I'll probably mix it up and do it as different streams. But for those first few days, it's going to be the main featured stream, okay? So that means that Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights are going to be more chill streaming games. For example, probably Friday night will be MLB, all right? Probably Saturday night will be Judgment. Probably Sunday night will be Minecraft, okay? And then for the rest of that week, we'll balance other stuff. I'll probably go back to Dragon Quest Builders and Final Fantasy and balance that with more chill stuff. For example, Black Ops 4, Blackout, etc. Okay? Maybe we'll go back to Mario Maker for a day. Okay? So that is going to be the gist of what you'll see for this week. Okay? And I'm excited for it, and it should be a good week of variety content. Now, the next new release that's a major release for this month is Wolfenstein Youngblood, okay? And I will have more information about that playthrough coming up soon, but not yet. What I need to do is hash through some details. I actually have a few possibilities and things planned, and I don't know what's going to work out and what's not. I have to wait a little bit longer to get more information before I can tell you about how I'm attacking Wolfenstein Youngblood. I am playing it. I just don't know how yet, okay? So I'll have more information within the next week or two. Also, as I just mentioned, Super Mario 64, okay, essentially is the winner of the Viewer's Choice poll for the summer. And so I am going to start playing it at some point, probably within the next 1 to 2 weeks. And that will hit up the main rotation of games as well, okay? So that's coming up too. All right? Pretty good, right? Pretty good stuff. Also, ladies and gentlemen, to coincide with the release of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, later today, I am going to update my emotes for a limited time, probably for about a 2-week period. We are going to have limited edition special emotes. All right here on the stream. These emotes are going to be tied into Marvel Comics. I think you guys are very much going to like them because I have seen them and I basically have laughed my ass off at them. I think they're some of the more well-designed things I've ever seen for my content. All right, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy being able to use these emotes, in particular during the playthrough, but maybe, you know, moving forward as well. So you should like them. That is going to be coming up, if everything goes according to plan, later today. Okay, I'm going to try to set them all up here, and you're going to see a bunch of new emotes that kind of look like ones that you're familiar with, but they're not exactly the same. Okay? they're pretty damn sweet, to be completely honest with all of you. All right. So, that's coming up later today, hopefully. Okay. All right, so outside of all that, guys, I think we pretty much covered the news and the schedule and everything, so you guys know what to expect. All right. So thank you for listening. And now what we're going to do is move on to the second segment of the stream, which I like to call the Gratuitous Plug segment. We call it that because, guess what? It's the Gratuitous Plug segment where I plug a bunch of stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for 11 awesome years where I've been able to be a content creator, sharing my daily gameplay experiences with all of you. Now, it certainly hasn't been easy, and there's been ups and downs. At first, I just did this for a hobby for about 2.5 years back on YouTube. Then, when I lost my office job, all right, out of nowhere, which I didn't plan on losing my job, I basically found a way to turn it into a living, and I became a full-time YouTuber from 2011 to 2017. But sadly, in 2017, YouTube fell apart as a business. They had their adpocalypse, and it made it completely unrealistic for someone like me to be able to make a living on YouTube. So I mixed things up, and I became a full-time streamer here on Twitch. And, quite frankly, I think the choice to do so was one of the best choices I ever had, and I definitely feel that my content has improved dramatically since I became a full-time streamer, with interaction with all of you on the streams and all of that. You know, it makes the streams feel more organic and interesting. It's not just feeling like me playing a game by myself in an isolated, booth. Instead, it really is a fun, interactive experience. But that being said, all right, when I pretty much became a full-time streamer, I abandoned the idea of doing stuff for YouTube, and my YouTube channel, DSPGaming, is just an archive of my streams now. So my income has changed dramatically. It went from me being primarily making money on YouTube to now primarily being dependent upon crowdfunding here on Twitch. All right. So if you would like to aid my efforts to continue to be able to do this, if you love my daily live streams, you love the on-demand videos on YouTube, and you want to see all this continue, there are many different ways that you can contribute and help out. I have a Patreon account at patreon.com/darksidephil. I have a Teespring store where you can sell you can buy some fun merchandise, including t-shirts and the like. And those things help. Primarily, though, if you're going to be here during the stream, you probably want to either cheer, sub, or tip, because if you do, I'm going to give you a live thank you shout out on the stream. Okay? Now, FYI, to clarify, today I'm playing Super Mario Maker 2. This is a very, very attention requiring game. Unlike a lot of the other chill games that I play, this game is incredibly difficult to focus on and do other stuff at the same time. Alright. That being said, I'm going to do my best to give shout-outs to contributions, alright? Please just be patient with me today. If I'm playing an incredibly challenging level, I might not want to stop in the middle of it to give a shout-out, but I will do shout-outs when I get an opportunity, alright? So if you either cheer, sub, or tip, I will give you a shout-out. However, understand a couple things. Number one, contributions help out. They keep the stream going, and they're much appreciated, but they're not mandatory. I am appreciative of people who just come and hang out with me on a daily basis and have fun here on the streams. That's what it's all about, all right? I'm incredibly lucky to get anyone who comes by and wants to hang out with me, and I know that, all right? I wholeheartedly know that. I'm incredibly grateful for any attention that I get, so thank all you guys for that, okay? So that being said, thank you in advance for any contributions, but know that they are not absolutely required, okay? Now, right now we have a few things going that I feel I should mention. First of all, we have a sub-goal going for the month of July. What this sub-goal is a certain criteria we have for trying to reach a certain amount of subscribers on the channel. If we reach 525 subscribers at any point during July, all right, I'm going to be doing a Rageathon special event. What this will be is games that people will nominate and then vote on that they feel are going to cause me to rage. All right? I will play those games in a marathon setting coming up probably in either late July or early August. Okay? And I'm excited for that because I did it last year and it was hit or miss, I'll be honest. Some games really caused rage and some didn't. But in general, I think now people know some more recent games that probably would be prone to causing me rage, right? So that being said, it should be a fun event. I definitely would love to do it, but we have to hit a subscriber goal of 525 subs. So please consider subbing to the channel for some of the many benefits that you would get, including over 35 emotes, and if everything, like I said, goes according to plan today, you'll actually get some exclusive Marvel-themed emotes starting later today. Okay? In addition to that, you don't have to watch advertisements when I run ad breaks during the streams. And you get a cool chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter, which is pretty sweet as well. So many benefits for subscribing, okay? Please consider it. Now, as you see at the top of the leaderboard, we have a top cheerer and top tipper section. So those who cheer and tip today will get, you know, billing up there and get credit for their contributions. Another way for me to give recognition to those who contribute. And if you guys take a look at the top of the screen, all right, you'll notice there's a cheering leaderboard as well. This is integrated into Twitch's chat, and this reset overnight. It always starts fresh on Monday. So today, it's an incredibly easy opportunity for you to make the top 10 cheerers of the week because these reset, and we don't even have 10 cheerers of the week yet. Okay? So you might want to consider, excuse me, you might want to consider cheering today as well. Just a good way to get recognized, all right? Now, essentially, folks, I'm appreciative of any contributions, and I don't look a gift horse in the mouth at all, but right now, real talk, if you want to help me out the most, the best way you could help me would be to tip me, all right? Financially, things have been pretty bad for me recently. Today, I'm supposed to finally get paid by Twitch for last month's, you know, performance and earnings. So as long as that comes through, that's definitely going to alleviate a lot of the problems I've been having. But if you tip me today, that's money that I can put not only towards bills that are already backed up because I didn't have money to pay them, but also that's money I can put towards Marvel Ultimate Alliance on Friday. Okay? So please consider tipping me today if at all you can. If you're interested in how, below the stream there's a tip jar button you could click on, or you can type !tip into the stream chat. A couple things to know about tipping. Number one, if you're afraid about giving away your identity, you can do it anonymously. You don't have to put up your real name, or you could just make up a name. Number two, you don't actually need a registered PayPal account in order to tip me at all. You can click on a button that's right there on the page that says, I just want to tip with a debit or credit card, and then you don't have to do any of that rigmarole, okay? So thank you to anyone who contributes today in any method, any way, shape, or form. Is all appreciated. Being honest right now, tipping me will help more than anything, but thanks to anyone who contributes in any way. It's very cool of you, all right? All right, so now, ladies and gents, what we're going to do, we're going to move on from the plug segment, and we are going to move to the shout-outs segment, all right? The third and final segment of pre-stream before we get started with gameplay. So, allow me to scroll all the way down because I want to give credit here. Let's see here. Okay. So here are the overnight contributions, all right? Look out, guys. Bottle crunch incoming. Ready? There we go. That was a quick one. So yeah, these are people who contributed overnight when I wasn't even live on the stream. They were kept me in mind, and they wanted to contribute, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you for keeping me in mind overnight. That's pretty amazing that people do, all right? So we actually start off with... Oh, it scrolled. Hold on. Crap. Okay, we start off with Ponage101, who tipped me $2 overnight. Thank you very much, Ponage. And he says the following. He says, I was watching your July 14th pre-stream on YouTube, and regarding the topic of Mortal Kombat Blood and Gore when it was on the Sega Genesis, it was censored like the Super Nintendo, but with a cheat code, the Blood and Gore could be enabled. Just wanted to point that out. That is correct. So we were having a discussion yesterday about the different era of Genesis versus Super Nintendo and how they competed directly as consoles back in the early 90s, because someone has pre-ordered me the Sega Genesis Mini, and I'll be checking that out in September, which is really awesome, so that's a really cool thing. But we were talking about the consoles, and the Genesis kind of pushed itself and marketed itself as the edgy, more adult-oriented console. Like they said, oh, if you buy Mortal Kombat, there's blood. And if you get our console, we've got blast processing, which is way faster and more serious for serious, gamers. So what they were trying to do was cater to like the teenage audience and the young adult audience, while Nintendo more catered towards children. And Nintendo actually kind of focused on being a children-centric console. Oh, buy our console, you can play all the first-party Nintendo games, and you see all kiddie games and stuff. But Ponage is correct, because what I said yesterday was, well, a lot of people just play Mortal Kombat on the Genesis because it had the blood, and on the Super Nintendo it was censored. Well, that's the truth. The truth of the matter is, he's actually right, and I'm glad that he brought this up to clarify. On the Genesis, it was also censored. Both Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo and Genesis were both censored games. with no blood, and the gore was completely censored too. Like, the fatalities were lame as hell. You know, they were just like really edited to not be violent. But if you put in a code on the Genesis version, it would unlock all the original fatalities and the gore. So there'd be blood, there'd be, you know, body parts ripped off and flying and stuff like that. Like, they basically made it the original game again, but you needed to know the cheat code. So essentially, if kids got their hands on this game, they didn't know the cheat code, they couldn't see the ultra-violent stuff, but then if they knew the code, they could, okay? So that is a good clarification. Thank you, Ponage, for that. I appreciate that, and thank you for the overnight tip. 08P Sun 80 subscribed overnight. Thank you very much for the subscription. Peacin'. That Anonymous also resubscribed for 24 months overnight. Thank you, That Anonymous, for 2 years of ongoing support. That is much appreciated. Now we have My Main Man did a couple cheers before the stream started today, so let's read those out. First of all, he did a 70-bit cheer, and he says, you know, I just watched your old Jak and Daxter playthrough, and I've never laughed so hard. There's a game that is due a redemption run in the future. Well, I remember, I had never played Jak and Daxter before at all, and actually when I played Jak and Daxter, that was the very first, okay, of all of these kind of PlayStation 2 era platformers, all right, that I had ever played. I've explained to you guys many times over the years, but I'll just for in summary for those who are maybe new reviewers of mine, I didn't play console games during the PS2 era at all. I missed out on the entire PlayStation 2 era because at that point in my life I was either very busy with work and school and stuff, or I was very heavily into competitive Street Fighter, okay? So I did not really play console games besides fighting games. So I missed out on an entire era of gaming, a whole console generation. Well, you know, the GameCube, the PlayStation 2, and the original Xbox. I missed out on all of that, okay? And at one point, I would say probably around 7 years ago at this point, all of those PS2 era games, such as the Jak and Daxter trilogy, the Sly Cooper trilogy, the Ratchet and Clank trilogy, etc., all those games were being re-released in HD collections for the PlayStation 3. And so it was an ample time for me to actually celebrate and play those games by playing these HD remakes because I had never played them before. But Jak and Daxter was the first of these, so I had like no experience playing these PS2 era games. And my God, I just remember that game whooping my ass. Like, I remember just not understanding the controls, not understanding the mechanics, dying to bosses over and over and over, like excessive deaths. Okay, so yeah, I definitely remember that playthrough being one of the rough ones. And of course, back then, that was a long time ago, when I used to rage so hard and swear up like a storm, like a sailor and everything. So people really like those old school playthroughs, okay? So, perhaps one day, if there is demand, I would consider going back and replaying those HD remake trilogies. We'll see. Right now, I don't think there is much demand, but I think you're absolutely right. That one day, people might want to see me go back and do that stuff again and see, you know, it'll be interesting to see, did I actually improve, right? You know, over the years now that I've played so many games, have I improved my skills at all? And would I be able to more easily beat these games, or would it be like just as bad as the first run through, right? I guess we'll eventually see. But all right, good one. My main man actually cheered again. I said, which item of yours has collected the most dust? The PlayStation VR, the PlayStation Vita, or the 3DS? The 3DS is the least of all of those, because essentially the 3DS, not only did I play many games on it back in the day and capture them, but before that I also played many games on the 3DS as well. So the 3DS, the least of all. I used the 3DS a significant amount, you know, years ago. Now I not so much in the modern day, but I used to. Man, between the PlayStation VR and the PlayStation Vita, that's got to be a toss-up. And here's why I say that. So the Vita, at launch, I played Uncharted Golden Abyss. I played this game called like Dungeon Siege something. I tried a couple other games. I remember I played Gravity Rush. I didn't like it. I didn't really like the game, so I never continued on playing it. I kind of quit it. And I also played, there was a not Killzone. Oh God. What was the name of the franchise of the Aliens that was exclusive to Sony last console gen? What the hell was it called? Oh, Resistance. That's right. I played the Resistance mobile game on the Vita. And I played the entire thing. I even got the platinum trophy for playing the damn thing. Okay? So those are the games I played on the Vita. And then when I was done with that, I basically only used the Vita for remote play. And I remember when I did my original Bloodborne run, which was, 2014? Or was it 2015? I can't remember the year that game came out. But my original Bloodborne run, I used it remote playing to grind in the game at night. So I would play Bloodborne during the day on stream, and then at night I would grind in the game on my Vita. Outside of that, I never used the Vita ever again. The only other use it ever got was Kat last year played Persona 4 Golden on it. So she actually got to play Persona 4 from start to finish. She really liked it. And, that was basically the most use I think it ever got was her playing Persona 4 Golden on it. Outside of that, it's now just sitting around doing nothing. And there's no games for it. They've ceased production. No one's making games for it anymore. So it probably will never be used again. Okay? The PlayStation VR, I gave it a lot of use at launch. If you remember, I mean, at least I played 5, 6, 7 launch games for the damn thing, right? A wide variety of games. There was the game that was essentially the VR demo that had the underwater part. I think it was VR Worlds, right? And then I played the Until Dawn on-rail shooter, right? I played another horror game of which I can't remember the name of. I played the Job Simulator. I played a lot of games in it, right? I did, and now that lasted. If you actually look, I think it lasted about, I want to say at least 1 to 2 months on and off. I at least played it pretty regularly. Okay. But then after that, the next thing I did was in early 2017 when I played Resident Evil 7 in VR, and I only played about the first half of the game in VR. Reason being, as many people saw when I played it, it didn't really add much to the game at all. It didn't make it scarier or anything like that. I felt that it was just kind of a gimmick, which is exactly what I feel VR is. It's a gimmick, which I said it was going to be, and then it ended up being 3 years ago, which is hilarious. VR will be the future of gaming. VR will change gaming forever, said every major media news outlet, and then when it released, no one really gave a fuck about it, just like I figured. Here we are in 2019. No one talks about VR. No one cares about VR. Certainly no one's buying anything in VR anymore. It's essentially a forgotten thing, it was something that everyone swore was going to be amazing. It came out, it was a flash in the pan thing, and now no one cares. Just like every other fucking gimmick on consoles, like motion controls and 3D and all the happy horse shit that they all do. It's just another gimmick that died. Okay? So, I guess, honestly, it's a tie. It's an absolute tie between PSVR and the Vita. Because the Vita failed because it was, in my opinion, poorly designed, way too expensive, and, no real killer apps were ever designed for it. The VR died just because it was a gimmick. No one wants to design games that can only work with VR that are not going to sell nearly as much as a game that's a mainstream game. Especially in the modern era when a lot of these companies are looking for surefire hits. No one's going to take a crazy risk designing a AAA VR game. So, I would say they're about a tie. They're both pretty much completely unused at this point. But definitely, I would say the 3DS is the difference here. That I got a ton of use out of over the years. So, alright, so now, my main man did a cheer right at the beginning of the stream. 50-bit cheer. Let's go ahead and get that up on the leaderboard before we progress here. Because that is indeed the first cheer. My main man 45. That was a 50-bit cheer. And he says the PlayStation Classic is now down to $17 on Amazon.com. A long way from $100. What a failure that was. Yeah, so this is funny because I actually tweeted about this last night. Okay. I had seen in my feed that the PlayStation Classic, which is a smaller version of the original PlayStation from back in the 90s, that has, I think it has like 20 to 30 emulated games on it. This had come out during the holidays, Christmas, and they thought it was going to be a giant hit, much like the Nintendo NES Classic and Super NES Classics were, okay? They thought it was going to be a ginormous hit. So all the stores stocked this thing. Tons of them. None of them sold. The thing was a ginormous failure, okay? So these things have been sitting around on shelves for a long-ass time. Every time I go to the store, a Target or a Best Buy, I see entire cases full of these fucking things. Because no one bought them, all right? So, as of last night, it was a giant price slash at BestBuy.com. They were being sold for $19.99, okay? So I was like, damn, and I put that up on my Twitter. I was like, damn, man, they really must have overstocked this thing. I mean, this thing was $100 at Christmas, and now it's $20. So essentially, you know what they're doing? They're probably selling it at cost. They're probably trying to get rid of them so badly because they're just sitting in inventory, not selling, that they realized the only way they're going to do it is to reduce the price dramatically. So they did. Well, now, apparently, today, Amazon even beat that price and updated their pricing on the website. Now they're $17 on Amazon.com. So, essentially, what you have now is a fire sale, where no one wants this thing in their inventory anymore. They realize there's really no value to it, and they're trying to get rid of them for, like, bottom-of-the-barrel prices. From what I'm to understand, the PlayStation Classic actually is quite a good emulation station. And what I mean by that is if you actually just load ROMs and or other emulation software onto USB sticks, you can basically load them into the console and turn it into like an emulator that you can capture easily for streaming purposes. So if anyone is interested in that, you may want to look into it, okay? But outside of that, I've heard it's very bad. I've heard that basically, essentially, the versions of the games that are included in it are not good versions. Like, they're pretty shitty versions with lag and displaying issues. And basically, the reason that this console didn't sell was because they didn't really put effort into it. It was a really butchered kind of a deal. You know, you play the NES or the SNES Classic, and you get very accurate versions of those games from as if you were playing them on the original consoles. You get the PlayStation Classic, and you play far inferior versions to what you used to play back in the day. So, makes sense to me why people really, are not digging it, okay? So there you go. Let's continue on. Shout out to My Secret Boy Toy, who has subscribed to the channel. Now, that's not My Secret Boy Toy. That's actually the name of the person. I don't have a secret boy toy. I'm happily married, okay? Let's clarify the air here before people take stuff out of context, which undoubtedly they'll do anyway. All right, continuing on. Best deal ever just took me $1 and said, since SpongeBob won, we'll let you hold off until Remastered comes out. In exchange, you play Knights of the Old Republic, since you have it and it's not a hassle to set up. Plus, this is unfinished business. No. There's no you let me do anything. I do what I want on my streams, and you like it or you don't like it, but you don't tell me what to do. No, SpongeBob didn't win. It's undetermined whether SpongeBob or Mario won, and there's no way to tell the truth of what won and what didn't. Since I'm a nice guy, I'm going to play Mario during the summer, and I'm going to play SpongeBob later this year. So essentially, for this Viewer's Choice event, you guys got a 2-for-1 special. You're going to get 2 playthroughs out of it instead of just 1, because I'm being nice to my viewers, all right? But when you phrase it like that, oh, you got to do this and this. No, I don't have to do shit. And quite frankly, that's a very entitled kind of a way of saying that and going about it. And you shouldn't do that. It's kind of messed up that you would put those kind of demands on a streamer. But will I ever play Knights of the Old Republic? It is possible. Absolutely, it's possible. However, I'll tell you right now, there's no way I'm doing it right now because I'm in the midst of a very long and drawn-out JRPG playthrough of Final Fantasy IX, okay? Maybe when I finish Final Fantasy IX, then I would consider possibly doing another RPG playthrough, which may be Knights of the Old Republic or could be something else. But right now, I have no plans on playing Knights of the Old Republic. It did not even get close to first or second place. Like I said, the polling was very inaccurate. Most of the votes for Knights of the Old Republic that made it look like it was in the running for win were actually falsified votes. So, not even close. The other 2 games will come, as a priority before that, okay? All right, continuing on. Philly Buckeye cheered 50 bits says, why don't you just play the top 2 or 3 games voted for? I've already explained this a million times. I'm not going to repeat myself again. Fat Mr. Bo Tip me $5. Are you going to get all the stars in your Mario 64 playthrough? Oh, man. Well, I mean, essentially, that's an interesting question. Okay. I remember just beating the game is challenging and fun, but not super difficult. Okay. I do remember that trying to get some of the optional stars is very tricky and quite fun. But I also remember that some of the stars are very difficult to get. Some people regularly used exploits to get them because the main way that was expected to get them was very, very difficult. So let me put it this way. All right. I'm not going to say no, but I'm also not going to say yes. I'm going to say let's play the game and enjoy it at face value, and let's see how it goes. If I'm playing the game and the playthrough's successful and people are loving the playthrough and, you know, everything is going well with it, and it's okay for me to make the playthrough longer because, you know, it is a playthrough that's successful and people are coming out for it and enjoying it, I wouldn't be against going the extra mile and trying to complete all of the stars, even though essentially it may be impossible. Who knows? I'd still give it an honest try, okay? But I'm not committing to it. All right? I'm not going to commit to it. So, fair enough. All right? I'll you know, when I play, I'll give it a shot. We'll see how difficult it actually is. I'll try to go for every star, but I'm not committing to having to get every star. I'll leave it as an open possibility. Okay? Okay. Continuing on, Egg Gangster cheered and said, "Will you be playing SpongeBob?" I'm not repeating myself for the 10th time on pre-stream. The answer is yes, just not immediately. My main man... What the hell is going on here? Sorry, my stupid thing froze up. There we go. Okay. My main man cheered again. He said it's the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. Your thoughts? Cool. I don't know. I don't really have many thoughts about the moon landing. That was certainly not in my generation. I'm not as old as you think I am. Okay, let's continue on. 3-button black shirt for men. What? Tipped $1 and says, "Let's make the girly turtleneck free stream today. I don't know why people want you to wear one so bad." I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. What the hell are you talking about? Apparently people want me to wear a turtleneck. Some weird shit going on. Let's continue on before I lose my train of thought. Egg Gangster Cheers says, "What SpongeBob character do you relate to most?" I think of you as mixed between Mr. Krabs and Squidward. I have no idea. I've never seen SpongeBob before. Yes, that is true. I've never seen a single episode of the SpongeBob cartoon. I don't know what the show is about. I don't know anything about it. And some people have expressed concern. They're like, well, when you play SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, you're not going to understand anything in it. To which I respond, yeah, I guess you're right. And I actually was talking with Kat about this last night when I was, reviewing the poll results, and she said that we should watch some of the show together because she used to watch it and actually liked it. And I said, all right, I guess maybe I'll bite the bullet and I'll watch some SpongeBob for the first time in my life. 37 fucking years old. I'm going to start watching SpongeBob now. This is my job in my life, folks, watching SpongeBob. So this should be great. Anyway, yeah, essentially maybe I will be watching some of it. With my wife to see what the hell it is. Oh boy. I'm very excited. If you can't tell, this may be one of the most exciting things I've ever done is watching SpongeBob. So, that should... Alright, let's continue. Infinite 55 has done a 100-bit cheer. That's actually the top cheer of the day. Let's get him up on the leaderboard here. Okay. Thank you, Infinite. And Infinite 55 says the following. He says, I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that if you play the DS version of Super Mario 64 that's on the Wii U Virtual Console, it's definitely something to check out because there's more content and more playable characters than the standard game. Okay. I'm not aware of that. I don't know anything about that. Okay. I don't know anything about that at all. I don't remember. I think I did play the DS version. Man, I can't remember. I know that, like I said, I played the original, and then I played one of the versions that was on a handheld. But I can't remember if it was the original DS version that was very similar to the N64, or if I played the redone version that had the new content. I can't remember for the life of me which one I played. It was so long ago, I can't, I can't remember at all. I don't know. Again, here's what we need, guys. I need your input. What is the best version of Mario 64 for me to play for streaming? Because I'm going to need to know within the next 1 to 2 weeks, essentially, which version to be playing. And we'll go from there. Okay, so please let me know. Alright, continuing on. X-Venom Symbiote has resubbed for 15 months and says the following. Hey, Phil, what do you think about the new feature that they're putting on the new Modern Warfare? The feature is you can now reload your gun while looking down the sights. Yes, finally, after all these years, the one thing everyone's always wanted, the ability to reload when you look down the sights of the gun. Yes. We all know this is going to be a complete game changer feature. Everything about life is going to change. It'll never be the same. I'm serious. Like, you guys don't understand. All war will come to an end. Finally, the vicious hate and vitriol between Democrats and Republicans in the United States will finally cease, and everyone will come together in peace and harmony as we all play Modern Warfare together, look down our sights, and reload our guns together in harmonious agreement. There you go. It's going to change everything. I'm telling you. There's just... I don't know. A lot of people seem to be pretty skeptical about Modern Warfare this year, saying that basically the game does not seem very good, that they were claiming they were going to reboot the franchise, but the things that people are seeing as the new additions and changes and stuff aren't very good and aren't very convincing. I reserve judgment. I'm not going to make any judgments until I actually play the game. And as I've told you guys many times, if the game does revert back to a more classic style of Modern Warfare gameplay, I would enjoy it. But I'm very skeptical that Infinity Ward would be able to pull that off after so many years of basically watering down their game franchise into being utter crap, in my opinion. I don't know what's going to happen with this game, you know. So I guess we'll see. Alright, I guess we'll see what happens. Fair enough. Let's continue. Alright, Egg Gangster. Cheers, as I found out from a very chill Kozatov, you outlasted yet another detractor. Great. I don't care. As I've said many times, I don't give a shit. And thanks for bringing it up. I don't care. Heaving Earth. Wow. Heaving Earth took me $25. Thank you very much, Heaving Earth. That's very generous of you. Let's get you up here on the leaderboard with a very generous tip tonight. Actually, it's morning, but this morning. I don't know why I say tonight. We're up to $32 in total tips so far. Pretty awesome, right? So Heaving Earth says the following. Bro, I hope this helps you to consider playing these levels. And then he basically has 3 different levels he suggests. Yes, I would consider playing those. But the problem is this may scroll off my screen, Heaving Earth, because, you know, contributions tend to come in over the course of the stream. And so I don't want this to scroll up. If you could you email me these codes at darksidephil@hotmail.com? All right, if you could, I would appreciate it. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I just had an idea. I had a revelation. Instead of being an idiot, I'm going to utilize modern technology. I know this is like, for me, this is like an exception to the rule. I'm going to take a picture of the codes. Here we go. I took a picture of the codes. So now later on in the stream, I can just look at those codes and enter them and do them instead of being an idiot. Okay? Because it's pretty stupid that for some reason I didn't realize I could do that. Okay. By the way, I actually see more codes actually have been coming in during the pre-stream here. People have been emailing me codes for more and more Mario Maker levels. So that's good. That's actually pretty good. Alright, continuing on here. So, oh, by the way, so again, thank you, Heaving Earth, for the $25 very generous tip. Much appreciated. Hey, Gangster. Just did a 50-bit cheers. I loved watching you drive in Jak and Daxter. Well, the first Jak and Daxter didn't have driving, right? It was Jak and Daxter 2, I believe, that added the driving. And it was so ridiculous. The controls were terrible. Some of the stages were insane. Yeah, I remember taking forever to beat the game. Nihilistic Goldfish did a 500-bit cheer. Oh, man, I totally forgot about this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to cheer today, please include the cheer mode Bleed Purple. If you do, it's 10% bonus bits to the streamer, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's 100% free, and it makes sense. It helps out the streamers that you're cheering for. So please use the Bleed Purple cheer mode, okay? When you cheer. So shout out to Nihilistic Goldfish, who did a 500-bit cheer and remembered to use that Bleed Purple, so gave a 10% bonus bits. All right, thank you very much to that. He says, here's to a fun stream. All right, let's get him up on the leaderboard as the top cheer of the day. Thank you very much, Nihilistic Goldfish. Oops. I'll get rid of that. Okay. All right, continuing on. The Paradox 988 did a 95-bit cheer and said, hello, Phil. How's you? I'm good, thanks. Looking forward to a good variety of content today with the Mario stuff on the first stream here. And then later tonight, some Judgment. And, you know, tomorrow's my day off for the week, which is weird. It's going to feel so weird. I haven't had a Tuesday off. I can't tell you the last time I had a Tuesday off because if you guys remember, Tuesdays used to be the new release days. They're not anymore. Like, most games don't come out on Tuesdays anymore, but they used to be the major new release day. Now it's primarily Fridays. So I almost never have had a Tuesday off. So this will be interesting, to say the least. But yeah, I'm doing good. Looking forward to a good variety of content and streaming today and hanging out with you guys. So thank you, Paradox, for the cheer. Frogs Playing Golf did a 50-bit cheer. Said instead of saying no lie, can you start saying no cap? No, I can't. It's not possible. I'm sorry. Continuing on. Knights of the Old Republic after Final Fantasy tipped me $1 and said, sorry if I sounded entitled, but I'll ask, can you please play Knights of the Old Republic after Final Fantasy IX to have an RPG on standby? It needs a redemption run since it's not finished. Well, first of all, hard to do a redemption run when I never really got that far into the game. If you guys remember, years and years and years ago, this was like, I want to say either 2014 or 2015. More than likely it was 2014, but I could be wrong. I was playing Knights of the Old Republic on my PC, and I had a mod for it that allowed it to be in widescreen, in like better HD graphics. Basically made the game look good. And I played it for about, I want to say about 10 hours. Okay? And I liked the 10 hours that I played. I'll be honest, it was very dated for the gameplay mechanics, but I thought it was pretty good. Then what happened was, and this is what really sucked, the mod that I was using somehow corrupted or crashed, and the game wouldn't ever boot ever again. I tried uninstalling, reinstalling, everything. It just would not work on my PC at all. So I had no way to continue the playthrough at that point, okay? Now, years later, someone actually sent me copies of both Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2, the original game discs. I believe they're for the Xbox, original Xbox. And now, apparently, those games are fully backwards compatible on the Xbox One. So, essentially, I could play those games on the Xbox One. That would be pretty stable. Although, from what I understand, they don't run very well. I mean, they're very old games at this point. But apparently, they're really good games. So, let me put it this way. As I've already said on this stream, and I'll say it again, okay? Am I committing, excuse me, am I committing to playing Knights of the Old Republic right now? Nope. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to commit to playing it, okay? However, it's a consideration. I'm going to focus on everything else I'm doing right now, and I'll tell you right now, Mario 64 is the priority, because that one is going to come first for sure, because it was one of the winners of the poll, if not the outright winner of the poll. It's unable to be determined what really won the poll, okay? I'll definitely keep it as a possibility. Let's see what happens in the next few weeks. Let's see what happens in August, all right? The one thing that I'm afraid of, this is me being very honest with all of you, okay? Let's say in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we wrap up a lot of stuff. Let's say we wrap up Final Fantasy 9, all right? You know, I get much further into Judgment. We stopped playing Mario Maker, which essentially is probably going to happen within another couple streams because then it starts to dry up the content. You know, but if, let's say, I start playing Knights of the Old Republic early to middle of August, well, I know for a fact the game's very long. But what happens if we don't finish it? Now, at the end of August, just so you guys have some perspective, hold on a second. I got to look at my calendar. Oh my God. So, in the last 2 weeks of August, there's like 6 game releases. There's the next episode of Life is Strange 2. There's Oninaki. There's Astral Chain. There's The Man of Medan. There's Blair Witch. And there's Control. All in the last week and a half of August. All right. Then in September, every week in September, we've got 1 to 2 major releases and or beta releases. So essentially what you've got starting in late August is just a blitz of new games. And what I'm nervous will happen is, oh, let's start playing Knights of the Old Republic. And then within a week, right, or 2 weeks, I'm so inundated with new games, that's it. You know, the thing just sits there on hold forever. And then I never get around to finishing it. And that's the last thing I want, is to start up a lengthy RPG that people have now been waiting for me to play for years and years. I go to play it, and now the damn thing gets stuck on hiatus forever. Okay? So, again, I don't want to make any promises. Let's see what happens with the summer. Let's see what happens with all the stuff coming up, and we'll go from there. All right? So thank you very much for that $1 tip. Let's go ahead and get that added to the total tips for the day. Very nice of you. My main man did a 50-bit cheers to House Cat. Cat is good. Today she actually has a day off. So she's going to be doing stuff around the house and relaxing and having just a nice day to herself without having to worry about work and stuff. Later today, she's going to make us her delicious baked chicken, which I love, man. She puts this tasty bread coating on it. It's like mouth-watering, succulent chicken thighs. Oh, man. So that we're going to have that for dinner and, you know, a good day off for her, a relaxing day. So, Detractor Slayer has tipped me $1. It says, Blood and Truth is the best PSVR game I've played. I know you mentioned your issues with VR, like contributions, but it's only 6 hours long. VR games can be once in a blue moon. Your VR playthrough was received well. I agree with you, Detractor Slayer, that, you know, when I did the VR stuff years ago, it was received well. You're right. In fact, my coverage of the PSVR launch went really well. But that was because it was, number one, the first time I'd ever done VR. Number two, because every time I played it, I had a stupid headset on and made me look like an idiot. And number three, because it was a gimmick everyone was into at the time and wanted to know if it was good because no one wanted to spend the money on it. All right? Today, we all know that VR is a joke. I'll be honest. We all know VR barely adds anything, and it's just a stupid gimmick. So most people don't care about VR anymore. And, as I said, you're absolutely right. The point I'm bringing up here is I'm an interactive streamer, right? I need to interact with my audience. If I put that headset on, I can't see shit, right? So it would be incredibly hard to interact with all of you and have an interactive stream when my headset is blocking my view of everything. So, I don't even know what Blood and Truth is. In essence, I've never heard of it until this very moment when you just brought it up. So if you're telling me that's the best VR game and I never even heard of it, that's pretty bad. I'm just saying. Continuing on, my main man cheered again and said, one thing you never cleared your debunk stream is insulting a guy about his dead brother. Can you clarify this? Sure. Fuck off about it. How about that? Because the bottom line is, so many people talk shit about stuff that never happened. There's no point in bringing up dead shit. You might as well bring up, remember that stream when Phil went into sub-only mode? When someone else was insulting the viewers? And that was, what, like 6 years ago? You know? How about that? Fuck off about it. It's time to move on. Seriously, it's time to fucking move on from shit that happened, you know, a ridiculously long time ago and has nothing to do with anything today. That most of the idiots who ever talk about it completely fabricated and made shit up about it. All right? It's time to leave the past and live in the modern era and stop being idiots about it. All right? So, that's my answer. Fuck off. Okay. Heaving Earth has tipped me $5. Again, thank you very much, Heaving Earth. And says, I sent the email to darksidephil@hotmail.com just in case the picture doesn't come out. Hope this helps. It's 2 levels. And he says, by the way, I would love to see some Jak and Daxter trilogy replay. Especially Jak and Daxter 3. That game was freaking phenomenal. Didn't I just recently play Jak and Daxter 3? Seriously, I think it was like within the last 1 to 2 years, right? I almost can 100% confirm that. It was because people had always asked me, when are you going back to play Jak and Daxter 3? You never did it. And then I finally did it. I doubt that I would be replaying that one anytime soon. Okay. So anyway, yes, thank you for that $5 tip. And then I got a $1 tip from Guy, who says, have you ever considered playing Brothers in Arms? It's old, but the story is awesome. The name sounds familiar. All right. I'm not too familiar with the franchise itself. I've never played it. You know, if anyone is interested in, you know, me playing it, for sure let me know. But, you know, just another game, a random game people throw out there asking, will I randomly play it? I don't know. I'm not saying yes or no. It's not off the table. Okay. Okay. So one final thing I want to do before we start is I want to update the sub count. Let's see if the sub count has changed at all. Oh my god, I can't see. We're at 467 subs. Darn, I think we actually lost a couple. That sucks. Well, that sucks. Oh well. Okay. So, let's continue on here. Uzi Gohard did a 50-bit cheer and said, when are we going to see Donkey Kong 64? I don't know. You know, I don't know. Essentially, it could happen. It might not. I mean, I'm not going to do it anytime soon. Earlier this year, I played Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3. And man, they were challenging, okay? I have no plans on playing Donkey Kong Country 64 anytime soon. But I would consider it in the future. People want to see it, but not now, okay? Vote Democrat did a 100-bit cheer. He says, I'm not sure if you heard. I guess YouTube is making new guidelines on creator harassment. It might stop detractor channels. Well, I haven't heard anything about it. If any news comes out about this, feel free to let me know, guys. And we can always look into it. I'm not optimistic about it. As I've told you guys many times, YouTube usually doesn't take any action against anyone unless someone threatens a lawsuit. Even in blatant cases of proven theft, YouTube will still not do anything permanently to punish anyone except if there's a lawsuit. If there's a lawsuit, then they'll take down channels and they'll do shit. Outside of that, they just don't care. Maybe they're changing. I don't know. And again, if they are, I consider looking into it. So if anyone gets definitive information about what's changed, how it's changed, and if it sounds like something that could benefit us, great. But like I said, I'm not feeling too optimistic about it, knowing the history of YouTube. Okay? Okay. Slayer of This Is How You Don't Play tipped $1 and says, any update on the Viewer's Choice Marathon? Oh my god. You must have come late to the stream. Alright, we talked about this in detail earlier. Alright. It was basically too close to call between Mario 64 and SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Since SpongeBob is getting a remake next year, I'll be playing that next year when it comes out. So that means that it will be Super Mario 64. And we're going to look at different versions of the game in the next week or so to determine what's the best version I should play. And I will start playing that sometime this month. Okay. Fair enough. Alright, thank you for the tip, Slayer of This Is How You Don't Play. I appreciate that. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen. One final thing. It's time for me to give shout-outs to the top cheerers for the day. So thanks to those people who cheered today so far. In 8th place, tied for 7th place, Philly Buckeye and Frogs playing golf. In 6th place, Uzi Gohard. 5th place, Paradox. 4th place, and actually tied for 3rd, Infinite and Vote Democrat. 2nd place, The Egg Gangster. And 1st place, Nihilistic Goldfish. And what is up, Akim Toto? Good to see ya. Alright, let's get started with Super Mario Maker 2, folks. Alright, thank you, and let's begin.